also known as Dragonfly7673, and you're watching DragonflySoars. I'm recording this on Saturday, February 1st, and I think it's about 4 o'clock. And I have a Tiggy here who thinks he needs lots of lovies. I was going to record earlier this week, but Monday it just didn't work out. There were errands to run and chiropractor to go to. Tuesday, I originally had intended to go to the local Blood Center Wisconsin Threads of Compassion meeting to talk to them and then to you about the comfort shawls for later this year. And then that got canceled because we had severe cold here. So then I was going to record Tuesday night, but because they canceled so many things, best friend actually had Tuesday off from teaching because he teaches his Aikido dojo actually is at the YMCA, and when they cancel school, they cancel classes at the YMCA. So he had Tuesday free, and Tuesday is Marcus Theater's $5 movie day with free popcorn, and we never get to take advantage of that because he works every Tuesday night. So we decided to go see a movie instead, and we went to go see Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit, which I went into knowing absolutely nothing about, and it was just a good, fun action. It was a good, fun action movie. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I didn't know what it was about, so I had no expectations going into it. And I knit on my twitchy sock, which I guess I can show you. If I can find it. It might be at the bottom. Oh. See, this would have been better if I had thought this through and organized it. This is what's left of the first ball of yarn. I need it to do the... Just a second. I'm sorry. Normally, I carry everything upstairs in a bag or a box or something like that. And then I kind of lay it out in front of me so that or alongside me, so I have it where I can grab things. And for whatever reason, when I did it today, I left everything in the bag, and of course, the things I wanted were at the bottom, and I didn't want to get everything all tangled up. So, again, I worked on the twitchy socks. So I actually I bound off the ribbing today. I have not woven in the ends, but it is done, except for it will need a heel eventually. So it's going to be an afterthought heel, but it is complete. So this is what I have left from this is Knit Picks Felici, and they come in 50-gram balls. This is what I have left. It'll do the heel. I'll still have some left over, but I didn't want the sock much taller. The only issue I have is that this one, I don't normally get second sock syndrome, usually, but I might this time because I can't figure out what I did with the second ball. I started these before Christmas because you saw them when Tiff was here. And the first time I showed them was before Christmas. And so I can't figure out what I did with the second one. I looked all over, and eventually it will turn up, but until I have the second ball, I can't start the second sock. Which is very unlike me. I normally try and start the second one right away because I don't like having second sock syndrome. If they linger too long, they just sort of like fall off my radar. I've got a couple socks like that in my queue. But as long as we're looking at socks, I also, this is my Socks on a Plane. I've told you this before, but the original pattern by Laura Linneman, or Lala of the Knit Girls, has a regular gusset and heel flap, or I think it does. It has some sort of built-in heel. I'm doing mine as an afterthought though, because I did the cables to line up with the stripes. So every time I did my 5th row of any stripe, that's where I did the cable. I then actually continued the cable up into the ribbing because I just thought it was a cool touch and it doesn't affect the stretch of the cuff at all. So it made me happy. So, and to prove the fact that I do usually start the second sock, I did start the second one. So the toe is there. Right now, they line up perfectly. So they should, I don't know how well that was matching up, but trust me, they line up perfectly. The difference is that the cable is going up the opposite side. So I will do it exactly the same. The purple little doodad just marks where I'm going to put the heel in at when I get to that point. So that one is started. So I'm going to put a close-up of the cable for the socks on the plane, and the picture makes it look very orange. It's not orange. Alright, since I didn't record last time, I didn't get to tell you that one of the other things I worked on was last weekend. I worked on my Argonaut shawl, and so I did finish a second repeat of this middle motif. There is a total of 20. So, but I have made progress on this. Last weekend, best friend was gone for the entire weekend because he was at a seminar in Ohio, and so I was home. So this is one of the things I decided I was going to make progress on because I really felt like I needed to move forward on some of my bigger things. This being one of them. And the other thing was getting a little bit of spinning done. This is the first bobbin of singles for my Malabrigo Noop in the mustard colorway. I still can't remember what the word actually is. It translates to mustard, and now that I have that in my head, that's all I remember. But this is, I divided all my braids, because I have 16 ounces total, into even size balls, and each of the balls is approximately 1.3 ounces. So this is actually 2 of those balls, so it's 2.6. This will be one set of singles. Eventually I'm going to do everything and then 3-ply into a couple skeins, and then I'm hoping to use it for a sweater, whether I do the entire sweater or I use it as the main color. So I did a little bit of spinning. I haven't done as much spinning lately, and normally I'm like all over the spinning, but it just hasn't been the thing I pull out. And partially because one of the things that's been going on is I've been getting home late also because I am trying to get more walking in. And at the end of this episode, I'm going to talk to you about an app called The Walk game. It is put out by the same people as Run Zombies. If you've ever heard Fibrista Files, Boutros Babe, or Katie of Knitting on the Fly, they've both talked about the Run Zombies app. Well, this is by the same people. I will talk about it more later. But long story short, I am trying to get more steps in and do more walking on any day that I don't have a reason that I have to leave work immediately. So, because we have a walking track at work. So, I will talk more about that later. But it means I'm getting home later than I normally do, which is kind of affecting some of my choices, along with some health things that I'm not ready to talk about. But I am seeing doctors, so, and I'm all good, see, except for a very stuffed up runny nose right now. It keeps going between being really stuffed and then wanting to run all over. But it seems to be just allergy and congestion. I mean, otherwise I feel mostly fine. So, I worked on that last weekend. Then, there's something I have been wanting to do for a while. Well, let me show you pictures of those, and then I'll show you the next thing, because I want to talk about it a little bit. Ages ago, I think it's been a couple years, Knit Picks had a special buy for some overspun wool. They let you know up front it was spun tighter than they normally would like for this wool, and they were selling it in bags of 10 in a special buy. And I bought 2 colors. This is one of the overspun ones. The other things I'm going to show you aren't. But I got avocado and I got chocolate brown. And I've had them in my stash for quite a while, and they said they were good for crochet. I had always intended to do something with them, some sort of crochet blanket or granny squares or something. And as time went by, I didn't do it because I couldn't decide. It didn't seem like I had enough, and it also seemed like it needed a 3rd color. Well, deduction said that the overspun special buy wool is actually the same as the wool of the Andes sport weight. Sport weight, I think so. I don't have it up here. So then I decided, okay, well, now that I know what it is, I can look for a 3rd color. And on the Knit Picks website, you can pick the yarn and it'll pop up a bigger image of the color. And so I kind of played around putting some next to each other, and eventually I picked some that I thought would go, and then I used my an app on my iPhone to put the colors next to each other. And let me show you a couple of those here. So once I did that, I decided, there are some colors I thought would go. One of the colors I had originally looked at was a light pink, and it probably would have been okay, but it wasn't a combo that I liked. But you saw, that way I could see the colors right next to each other and decide whether I liked them. Well, once I finally kind of narrowed it down, then I was still trying to figure out a pattern. And I found this pattern called the Saltwater Taffy Afghan, and it says it uses a star stitch, and it is a lovely pattern. I will post a picture here of the pattern, of the picture from the pattern itself. I obviously didn't have the same colors, so then I wanted to try and figure out what colors and which way I would want to do them, because it mattered how many I ordered too. So I went through and used Excel and made these images. Let's see. This corner to corner is one motif, and then I did them in 4s so I could see the idea. So here I did the 3 colors that I was looking at, and then I knew I wanted brown for the border and the main crisscross items. So that wasn't changing. It was just a question of where did I put my avocado green and my 3rd color that was yet to be purchased. So this was me looking at the grays. And this one uses the gray as the secondary color and the green as the 3rd emphasized color. And then this is the same colors, but I flip-flopped the gray and the green. So I had that one. I had a red one because I thought that the red would match my walls and match some things at Best Friend's house if we ever pull together. I had a cream color one, which I liked the colors, and then I did not like at all when we did this way. And the same with the gray. Best Friend and I both were like, yeah, we didn't like the gray or the green. We had some discussions back and forth on the red, but eventually we came to agreement on the blue. We both really liked the blue, and honestly, out of all the color choices, the blue was the one I was leaning toward anyway. I thought he would like the red, and so I had thrown a couple options in there. He likes to be able to see things, and it helps. So we ended up, though, deciding on the blue, and then we ended up deciding on this one, We actually liked either one, but this is the one I went with. And then I made myself a color chart. So, now, if you noticed in that, if you noticed in the big blanket picture, that is one big motif. And you actually do, you do the repeats, and you go all the way across the row doing the repeat 4 or 5 times. And then you just keep going back and forth and back and forth. Well, I was a little worried that if I did that, I would get to a certain point and decide I've done all this work and I don't like the way it looks. So I thought I'll do a swatch of one repeat. Well, actually, first I did it took me a while to figure out the stitch in the pattern. It says it's a star stitch. It's a crocheted star stitch. It doesn't match a single tutorial I could find for the star stitch. All the star stitch tutorials I found matched each other. You know, they might be a 4 or 5 loop or a 6 loop, but the general way they worked was all the same. This didn't match it at all, and it didn't have a good starting row. It kept referring to putting your hook into the eyelet, but when you start you have a chain. You don't have an eyelet yet. Luckily, somebody's pattern on Ravelry, on her project page, she actually put a starting row and said this is what she did, and she wrote it out. It made so much more sense. So I decided to do that. And while I was practicing, I made this little tiny swatch. I decided to make a large swatch to see if I really liked the colors. Actually, it goes that way. If I really liked the colors all together. And while I was working on this, I also saw that Kagi of the High Fiber Diet was doing a hip to be square knit along all year, where if you do a square or a significant piece of knitting like 10 hexa puffs or 5 granny squares or whatever, use your own best judgment for what constitutes a decent square so that by the time you're done at the end of the year you have a blanket. She was having a hip to be square, knit along, crochet along, whatever. And I thought, and it got me thinking about making this into square. So I was like, you know what? I could make more, instead of this just being my swatch, it can be my first square. By making these squares, it keeps it a bit pesty. It keeps it way more portable. I can take a square to, when I go visit Mom and my son, I can take a square to best friend's house. I'm not going to take it to the movies, but I can take it various places and work on a square, whereas the blanket's going to be very unwieldy after a while, and it's going to get tangled, and it's going to be a mess. So rather than making one big, giant crocheted rectangle, I'm going to be making squares. And my other thought is that if I love it or hate it, I can keep making squares or stop making squares when I feel like it and I have enough to make a rectangular shape. So this is my first square for the hip to be square knit along, and also because I'm doing it with Kagi, that means I don't have to pressure myself either to try to do them all at once. I only need to get 1, maybe 2 done a month. Anyway, based on the way the pattern is, I would need to do 20 squares, which means really I should try and get 2 done a month, but I didn't get the yarn until just about a week ago. So there was no way I was getting 2 done this month. Now that I understand the pattern, I can see that I can probably get 2 done in future months. But I'm also not going to pressure myself. We got enough things going on, so I'm just going to try and get at least 1 done a month. Okay, let me post pictures of that. Alright, I also, as I drop it, I also started a comfort shawl for our knit along for charity that will be for the March-April timeframe. You can feel free to start now. I did find it, because they canceled the once again, I'm doing this for the Blood Center of Wisconsin, Threads of Compassion group that makes shawls for the survivors of people that have passed away and then donated tissue, bone marrow, organs, etc. After passing. So they sent shawls to Tiff and myself and Mom after Dad passed away earlier this year. Or, well, last year, I guess now. And we had said right away that we weren't ready to deal with it right then, but around the anniversary of Dad's passing, we wanted to make shawls to give back. And I was going to go to they have a meeting once a month at a local, I don't know, it's a local site of some sort. And I was going to go this month, except for they canceled it due to the extreme cold. And then I was like, okay, I'm hoping to go next month, but there's also a chance I might have to go to Canada the exact same week because they do it the 4th Tuesday of the month, and that would be February 25th, and it looks like I might have to go to Canada the week of February 24th. It's not for sure. There's no plane tickets bought, partially because we're waiting to find out more about me before I go flying anywhere. And anyway, so I might miss it. So I talked to Lynn, who is the coordinator, and she and I spoke on the phone, and I got more details for you. Now, she sent me a copy of this pattern, but it's actually, I ended up buying the book that it's from. It's from a Leisure Arts collection of comfort or ministry shawls. It is just a triangle. It's basically half of a granny square. So it's just basically a triangle with double crochets, and it just keeps growing on the outside. Not very exciting, but it is soft and warm. It is out of Line Brand Homespun, and I am crocheting with a K hook, which is 6.5 millimeters. She had sent me this one, and I had started it because when you go to the meeting, people show off their shawls, and they also are working on shawls, and I wanted to have something with me to work on. And so I had started it so I would have one with me. But I talked to her about what are the requirements, because Angel Mom pointed out that she donates comfort shawls to a hospital, and they have different rules. They have rules like they can't have fringe because where she's donating, the shawls are for the people who are ill, that are in the hospital. So they don't want fringe because of the machines and everything else. For Threads of Compassion, they actually want fringe or some other decorative edging because these are for the survivors. So here are the general rules. She said they will take just about anything. She said that the only requirements are that they are large. The patterns that they have on their website, which I've got linked in the show notes, are the patterns they have are very generic. She said she just put them there because they got an idea of how much yarn they took. They're either plain crochet or they're garter stitch. They don't have to be that. She said they're homespun or Bernat boucle because that was handy. But she said the most important thing is they're big. They hope for about 65, somewhere between 60 and 70 inches wide wingspan. And then about, between 30 and 40 deep. So if you're making a triangle, that would mean that you want it 65 across the top and 35 down here. Now I'm going to post all this, but they don't have to be exact. But they need to be in that range. And she said the reason is because many times when families are grieving, she said there are volunteers who actually go to the homes of the people in grief, and they will hand out shawls right then. And they just always have a supply of about 6 shawls with them, and they don't want to be sorting. They would like them to all be, about the same so they can just hand them. She said so they need to be big. The other thing is, she said they really prefer acrylic because they need to be washable. They actually get a tag that says that these are machine washable. So she said it's just best to tell everybody to do acrylic. So these are for, this is for if you're sending them to me, and so that I can take them to the Blood Center of Wisconsin. And I know some of you have already said you are planning to send me a shawl to donate over there, and I so appreciate that. So for them, they want big acrylic and a decorative edge, either fringe or some other, edging that looks nice. She said that if you do manly colors, consider not doing fringe, because she said they do give them to men. They don't call them shawls then, they call them man wraps, but she said they're the same thing. But she said the men don't like the fringe as much, so if you happen to be doing a manly color, consider not doing fringe. I see you. But she said otherwise be creative. She said don't get too fancy. These aren't for a fashion show. They're meant for comfort. So she said sometimes people will turn some in and they have flowers on them or something like that. She said they still take them. She said they're just, she said they prefer the classic. She said think about classic styles. Not make them colorful, but not crazy neon, things like that. Think about what you would want for comfort. So that's for the Threads of Compassion. If you are donating if you are not going to send them to me, and you are going to donate someplace local to you, your local church, a local nursing home, I will even do, if you want to make one shawl for a friend in need, I will accept that. But please consider sending them my way. I would really like to kind of surprise them with how many we can do. And I'm putting some of I'm trying to kind of put some of the nice gifts into this one, because out of all the charities this year, this is the one that means the most to me, to my family. And so Mom's got the sheep umbrella with the extra little sheep accessories, and I got contacted by someone this week who would prefer to remain anonymous, but she's donating a bunch of yarn for me to distribute, and I know one of them, there's 4 skeins, all the same color, all the same dye lot, and I thought that would be an awesome prize for this. I also, Crimson Orchid contacted me, and she is going to donate a prize worth about $25 from her Etsy shop. It is a row counter bracelet and stitch markers, and there's 2 sets that she's made, and the winner will get to pick one of the 2 sets. And then we have other prizes, of course. So I know we're right in the middle of Snuggles, and of course keep doing Snuggles. As far as I can tell, I think we're way ahead on Sadie's drive. Okay, side note, if you donate, and it's supposed to be for DragonflySoars, make sure that on Sadie's site you actually write that it's for DragonflySoars. Some of them are getting posted with no podcast. And if I know that you also posted in our group and I've noticed, I will send you a note saying don't forget to give us credit. So just don't forget that if you post them in Sadie's group, make sure you give credit to the podcast. You can't double dip. So if you're posting in our group, I'm assuming that when you post in her group, you meant it for us. Anyway, Snuggles are January, February. So through February 28th, keep doing Snuggles. And if you want to start your comfort shawl now, like I did, please feel free. I'm going to actually start a comfort shawl thread so that I can put the information for Threads of Compassion. Just remember, as I said, if you're not donating to me, then make sure you follow the rules for your local organization. I think that's it. Let me post a picture of this shawl that started, and then I think what's left is showing you what I have planned next and things that came in the mail. And in there, I also showed you the items from Crimson Orchid. This is an amazing prize, and I thank her so much for donating it. I won't have that here. She's going to ship direct to the winner. I just want to bring it up. Rosary Realm, who also donated 4 sets of stitch markers for the January-March time frame. She is offering a 25% off. I think it's 25%. She's offering a discount code for all viewers with the code Dragonfly throughout 2014, which is extremely generous. So you should check out Rosary Realm Etsy shop. Again, linked in the show notes. And she actually has at the top of her Etsy page the code information. So if you're going to tell anybody about it, tell them to either watch the show or look on her shop. I'd prefer they watch the show, but... Alright, next on my needles, I realized that Knitting in the Mitten is coming a lot faster than I thought. It is in March, and Knitting in the Mitten is put on by Tina of the Knitting Blooms podcast, also known as Blooming Knitter. And the last I knew, she actually had some openings for the retreat. And she has it broken down into weekends or midweek. So Thursday through Sunday is a weekend. So you can do Thursday through Sunday. The March 13th is when it starts. So the first Thursday through Sunday is considered the first weekend. Sunday through Thursday is midweek. And then Thursday through Sunday again would be the second weekend. I am going to be there the second weekend. I was going to be there the first weekend, but I moved some stuff around so that I could give best friend a cool Christmas present of going to see Imagine Dragons. Originally we couldn't go because I was supposed to be at Knitting in the Mitten, and then she had a cancellation for the second weekend, so I was able to swap. So we're now going second weekend, which reminds me, Mom, if I haven't talked to you, we need to discuss kitties, because I just realized that when I moved the weekend, now best friend is not able to watch the kitties. Don't you guys love it when I give Mom messages through the podcast? But anyway, we have a swap, and I am sure that the person that I'm doing the swap for, even though I'm not going to name names, does not watch this podcast. So we have in the swap, you're supposed to make something, and so I'm using this yarn, which was dyed by Hippie Penguin. Let me pull up my thing. Hippie Penguin Fibers, and this is the yarn that she made for the DragonflySoars colorway. So it's Superwash Merino in the DragonflySoars colorway. And I'm going to be knitting the Under the Wire cowl. And this pattern was given to us at... Oh my god, I've been saying oh, I'm so sorry, Tina. Knitopia is coming in March. I have Knitting in the Mitten on the brain because that's where this came from. Knitopia. Knitopia, Knitopia, Knitopia. Knitopia is in March in Lexington, Michigan. It's a cabin on the lake with Tina, Blooming Knitter, Knitting Blooms podcast. March 13th, and then whatever it is till the next Sunday. So it's March 13th is the start of it, and then first weekend, Thursday through Sunday, midweek, Sunday through Thursday, second weekend, Thursday through Sunday again. Knitopia. I'm so sorry. Knitting in the Mitten is in November, and the last one is where this cowl pattern came from. So, I This, I know several people at Knittin' in the Mitten knit this very quickly, so I am hoping that it will be quick for me. And when we were there, several people were actually splitting their ball in half to do it, to double the strands, because it either takes worsted weight or 2 strands of fingering. I am just going to do inside and outside of the ball. So, as I said, that yarn is from Hippie Penguin, and as long as I'm talking about her, I will talk to you about, I got this in the mail. This is the Pod Fiber logo. Now, Pod Fiber is Hippie Penguin's husband, Dave, is putting together a service so that video podcasters, and probably audio too, can have a place to host their podcasts. Video podcasts take up a lot of space. Most of us were on Blip, and Blip would push to iTunes, and then several people got kicked off of Blip, and now Blip is not going to push to iTunes, although Blip is not going to push to iTunes, but I am wondering if you can still pull from Blip using the RSS feed. I don't know yet. But in the meantime, several people lost their way to have a free hosting site for their videos that could be downloaded onto via Downcast or iPhones or iTunes or anything else that will actually download videos. So a lot of people have been going to YouTube, and YouTube is great. I cross-post to YouTube. Unfortunately, if you're like me, downloading works a whole lot better for me. So I'm been really bad about keeping up with any podcast that had to go YouTube only. So I am really hoping that this Pod Fiber site takes off. And right now Dave is kind of under the gun because he knows that Blip is going to stop pushing to iTunes, and he knows there's kind of a timeline. I believe that Cece of the Geeky Girls Knits said in their last episode that their podcast is going to be kind of a beta test for Pod Fiber. So I will keep you posted, but in the meantime, because I supported them via their Indiegogo, I got a t-shirt in the mail. So, other things I got in the mail. It was the week of club shipments, and in fact, shh, he's meowing at the wall. Take yours. There's nothing over there. And actually I have one more coming. I did a couple clubs this year. I did the Highland Handmaids, which is Heather, Fiberista Files, Boutros Babe. I did her Snapshots of Maine club. So I'm going to show you that one. And this is, if you don't want to see it, please look away. But, are you looking away? I'm going to post a picture later too. So this is it. It's kind of rusty brown color, and there was a postcard with it. That the pictures for the Snapshots of Maine, Heather and her husband are going out and taking pictures around Maine, and then those pictures will become inspiration. With that, they're also sending the pictures to become postcards. So this is one of their pictures. I keep flipping it because on my side it's this way. So this is the first postcard. It's the Blast Furnace in Catadin Ironworks, North Maine Woods. And the yarn is beautiful. And I actually posted something on Plurk the other day saying that I was really excited when I got this. The yarn, of course, is beautiful. I expect that out of Heather. I mean, she's one of the... If I was, not that I want to disparage any indie dyers, but if I was giving up all my indie dyers, Heather and the Unique Sheep are probably the ones I'd still want to keep going to. So I mean, I knew the yarn was going to be beautiful. The postcard is a nice touch since this is called Snapshots of Maine. But what I really enjoyed was there was a one-page story that went with it that talked about this location. It talked about why it was important to Heather and her husband and what the history of the area was and Heather's thoughts on it. And I seriously stood in my doorway. I still had my coat on, reading the letter that went with it before I even opened the yarn because I was so enchanted by the writing. So I actually posted that on Plurk because I wanted Heather to know that I know she loves writing too, and I really enjoyed that. And if they are all like this, I'm going to love this club. It's just this little piece of information that I wouldn't have otherwise. So I also got my Sunnydale Club shipment, and I lost the little, dang it, there it is, it fell down. So this is from the Sunnydale, Dizzy Color Sunnydale Yarn Club. This is All the Underworld is a Stage. This is the inspiration photo. If any of you watch Buffy, this is from the first season when there is the creepy ventriloquist dummy that, of course, is alive. Because that's what creepy ventriloquist dummies are. They're creepy and living. And it's one of those episodes I don't really like, but this is beautiful. This is mainly blues, and then there's these bright pops of the yellow and the red, which then blend into the greens and the purples and a little bit of orange. So I really like the color. And I don't think I said before, but Dizzy Color is a combination of Mad Color Fiber Arts and Dizzy Blonde Studios. So, and I believe what they're doing is they're alternating each month who does the shipment. So this is actually from the Puppet Show, is what the actual episode is called. And then this is not a club shipment, but Sadie of the Yarnivore podcast, you know, is hosting for the Snuggles. Well, she also dyed a couple colorways for puppies and kitties. And if you buy those colorways, part of the proceeds go to a couple local animal places. I forgot exactly what they were, but I got the Perfect, which is the kitty one, and I wanted it for myself, and the fact that it was donating to a good cause and supporting the whole Snuggle effort was a good thing for me. I thought about making it a prize, and then I decided that I like it too much. I'm sorry. But it is a stripe, it's a 3-stripe, and it will be black, purple, and turquoise. So I believe that's everything for that. So let me post pictures of that. Again, if you didn't want to be spoiled by the Highland Handmaids, you're going to have to look away. I don't think anybody, the Sunnydale, I think, is a smaller group, but I'm going to, but that one, I think everybody should have theirs. I'm going to post pictures here. Alright, I did want to do a surprise drawing today. I realized that we are now over 300 members, which is still, it's pretty small compared to some of the other podcasts, but we are a very close group, and I think we make a big difference in the world. So I wanted to do a surprise drawing for this, and so the prize is going to be any downloadable pattern in Ravelry that is $10 or less, and I'm going to draw 3 times. So I'm doing 2 through 312 because since I created the group, I'm number 1. So we're going to, there's 2 through 312. We're going to generate, and we're generating 3 of them. 110, 164, and 73. and I have the app here. Well, I downloaded the Excel spreadsheet, and it's in order of when you joined. 110 is Knitting Lady 54, also known as Gwyn. 164 is, oh, I know she watches all the time, Flibberty Gibbet, who is Gayla. And what was the other number? 73. 73 is P. Prahl, who is Pat. P-P-R-A-H-L. So, if you are one of those 3 people, please contact me and pick one pattern that is $10 or less on Ravelry, and I will make sure to gift it to you. So, that was our surprise drawing. And now I want to talk to you about my walking app. And if you're not interested in that, you can say goodbye now, and it will be fine. I just wanted to share because it's really making a difference for me. And I've only had it a couple weeks. So, but I have my Fitbit, and my Fitbit does a very nice job of counting my steps through the day. It links to my Fitness Pal, and I have my Fitness Pal set to sedentary, meaning I don't move throughout the day. Which frankly, if I want to, I could be the laziest person, and I can sit there and go from my house into the car, drive to work, go to my desk, leave work, go home and sit on the couch and do nothing. And honestly, for quite some time, that's what I was doing because my feet were really, really hurting me. I have plantar fasciitis. The chiropractor helped me and helped make that hurt less. And then I started walking some, and I got my Fitbit and I got my Fitness Pal, and started really trying to watch what I eat and things like that. So the Fitbit really helps, and I have it linked to my Fitness Pal, and if I get some extra steps in, I get to earn back some of my calories. And I'm sorry, best friend had a big event today, and he's texting. And then I also linked my Fitbit to Walgreens because you can earn balance rewards points for walking. I have it at work. We now have a challenge for 2014 to do 700,000 steps in a year, and if you do, you get $100 off your insurance premium. If you do it twice, you get $200 off your insurance premium, and it also links, you can either enter it manually or you can link it to a Fitbit. So I did that right away because I figured I'm already calculating steps. So my Fitbit is very important to me. However, for me, it doesn't provide any incentive. I can see how much I walked, I can kind of see if I'm trending down, and kind of make sure I get some more in. I can kind of get excited if, okay, I had a good day. But it didn't encourage me to purposely walk more. I know for some people it does. They want to increase. For me, it didn't do that. Well, enter the walk game. It is a game, and it's for sure on iPhone, and I'm almost positive it's on Android as well. It's by the same people that do Run Zombies. Now, I've tried to do Run Zombies, and there's a problem that even though you can supposedly walk during Run Zombies, you have to increase your speed by like 20% or something like that in order for the zombies not to catch you. And I can't increase that much. I can't run at this point, and I get creeped out by the zombies breathing in my ear. Like, seriously creeped out. And so that's not for me. But it works great for other people. There's also a zombies couch to 5K, meaning, how do you go from basically doing nothing to running a 5K? And I own that one, but I haven't tried it. Well, this one's all about walking. By the time you're done, you will have basically walked the length of the UK, is my understanding. Just a second. And you get a map each day, and I'm going to post some screenshots, but you get a map. You get a map like this, and each day you can decide if you're going to do an episode. So like on the weekends, I don't do it. I know I don't walk on the weekends, and it's not nice enough outside to go for a walk. So, but you get a map, and you get to earn audio clips, which are part of the story while you're walking. And you can pick up extras by deciding that you're going to, right here, you can change direction. Oh, well, I can't. There. You can change direction and take the longer path and pick up a secret collectible. And it will tell you how much you have to walk to earn each little audio clip. And you're basically a character in the story. It's not interactive, they're basically talking to you, but it's interesting. You end up that you inadvertently get drawn into this spy game because they think you're somebody else, and now you're kind of stuck helping. And there are also challenge days where where you can actually pick how far you want to walk. The goal is to get all the different collectibles on the screen, but you need to do at least 35 minutes in order to pass to the next episode. Deer's causing trouble. I'm not describing this very well, and I'm sorry. I'm going to link to a couple of reviews of it. I really enjoy it. It is actually, we have a walking track at work that I've barely ever gone on, and this is actually encouraging me that on the days when I don't have to be somewhere, I go to the walking track and walk, and I'll tell best friend that I gotta go. You know, sometimes he'll walk with me, sometimes we'll do stuff separately because he goes and works out. Sometimes he has to leave, but I go and I walk, and I'll be like, I gotta go and walk for 40 minutes because I need to finish my episode. So it's encouraging me. When you finish an episode, you get badges. You get badges for finishing. You get badges for finishing with no more than 3 hours of inactivity, which means as long as you get up from your desk, I let mine run all day. As long as you get up from your desk, walk to go to the bathroom, walk to go get a drink, whatever. I've been taking the long way around at work to different places just because I want to get some extra steps. I've been actually going and visiting people at their desk instead of instant messaging them, just to get steps, just because I want to earn that next audio clip. I am all about the audio clips and the badges, and I know they don't really mean anything, but that is motivating me. So suddenly where I was having 4,000 steps was a good day, I'm getting usually 9,000 to 11,000 steps a day. So it's working for me. Now the other day I wore heels to work because I had a presentation, and I forgot to bring my walking shoes. So I used the emergency shoes that I keep at my desk. They are not as good, and I ended up getting blisters. I was talking to my son, and he said that, he's like, maybe you should get some different emergency shoes. I'm like, yeah, I think so too. However, he then said something that like made me tear up. He knew I'd been trying to walk and watch what I eat. Because I lost weight. I even lost weight while I was in China. I did not gain weight in the mitten, Thanksgiving, Christmas. You know, I had a little bit of up and down, but basically I broke even. I did the maintain, not gain at work, and I got my money. It was a pool. I got money from that. I did really good. All I wanted to do was not gain through the holidays, but now I'm trying to get back to losing healthily, in a healthy manner. And I told my son this, and after he was teasing me about having better shoes, he sent me a text message and said, by the way, I'm really proud of you for doing all this, and having your 17-year-old tell you they're proud of you means a lot. Okay, I think I'm done now, besides the fact that I'm losing my voice. So I will talk to you guys all. Since it's Saturday, I'm obviously not recording on Monday or Tuesday. Monday, I actually have a celebration party after work. It's for a big work project at work. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to record Monday, and I just decided, let's break it even. Let's record today, and then I will see you back on a normal schedule in a couple weeks. Well, week and a half. I will talk to you guys all next time. Bye now.